Good morning, family. Today's scripture message is from the Bible app. It is Romans chapter 12, verse 3, and this is Paul speaking to the church in Rome. For I say, through the grace given to me, to everyone who is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, as God has dealt to each one a measure of faith. I call this humbling grace because as I studied and meditated on the scripture, I thought about how I'm always humble. I've never thought more of myself, except when I was little and everybody was saying, "Oh, you're such a pretty girl." And so I just let it go to my head that, I was pretty. When I gained weight, I lost my confidence, and I feel that God humbled me because I had begun to treat people bad because, I thought I was all that or whatever in college. So I've had some humbling experiences in my life. And thinking about what I'm going through today and my situation now, I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe this is, a humbling experience. I've always been humbled when after a rejection, after I feel like I've been rejected, I try to examine myself and figure out, okay, what did you do wrong? What happened? How do you change that? And I'm in the boxing ring with myself sometimes, and I beat myself up. But then I am still victorious in myself because I know that I try to be a better person for myself every day. I've never been one to compare myself to other people, but I've always compared myself to the former me. The Felicia from yesterday is bound and determined to be different than the Felicia, or the Felicia today is trying to be different than the Felicia from yesterday. I'm always trying to grow and be a better person. So the message that hit me this morning was, Felicia, humble yourself before God humbles you. Don't think, and Paul was telling these people, don't think too highly of yourself. This is right before he told them about using their spiritual gifts. And after seeing that part, I went back to my spiritual gifts message from 8 months ago about me not using my spiritual gifts on the right audience or the right people. And I was like, okay, so, Felicia, humble yourself before God humbles you. If you're not using your gifts, then of course God is going to move you to a place where you can use the gifts that he's given you and do what it is that he has called you to do, which is to encourage people. I am an encourager. I try to be positive. But after, being around negative energy drains me. I wish it didn't. I'm praying that I can hold on to my positive thoughts and my positive mindset, even in the midst of, the most negative people. What came to me also this morning was, Felicia, grow your faith and live in God's humbling grace. Grace is something that I can't control. So why boast and be, puffed up about having grace? I've never been that way. So I was kind of confused as to what it was, but I'm starting to ramble just like I did 6 months ago, y'all. But basically, the message is, humble yourself before God humbles you. And in encouraging myself to stay positive, the thought that came to me was, Felicia, even the biggest cloud can cover up the sun, but it doesn't stop the sun from shining. So I'm going to move forward with that. I love y'all. I hope y'all have a blessed and wonderful Thursday.